Hello and welcome once again to Beatle University. I am Professor Moptop, and some time ago, well over a year, we started talking about the Beatles in 1968. And all they recorded, and all the traveling they did, and the singles they had, and all the other cool things they wrote, and all the cool drugs they were taking, and all their famous friends they were hanging out with, and we talked about Yoko Ono. We've been through each and every song written during 1968 and have come to the end of our extended unit. Now it's time to talk about the finished product, the result of just over 4 months of intense and tense sessions, which ultimately resulted in 30 new Beatles songs on 4 album sides. On November 22nd of 1968, about a year since the last full-length album release for the band, the White Album came out, which is technically not the title of the simply titled double album called The Beatles, 90 minutes of new stuff for Beatle fans. And it had a big poster, and 4 individual pictures of each individual Beatle, and the lyrics were printed, and it had a plain white cover, very unlike the multicolored albums from the previous year. Of the 30 songs, 12 were McCartney cuts, including the rather brief Wild Honey Pie and Why Don't We Do in the Road. Not counted is that really short Can You Take Me Back Where I Came From. Lennon had 13 compositions, including Revolution 9, which, as we have said in the past, isn't really a song. And there's Goodnight. He wrote that, but Ringo sang it. George Harrison had 4 tracks, and Ringo wrote his first as well. While in India, the band was writing and creating the songs for the album. All they had were acoustic guitars to write with, and presumably pens or pencils. They also kept writing after they got back from India, and even after the sessions started. As they began recording the songs, some of them stayed unplugged, while others got a studio treatment. They were also trying to have songs with as many different styles as possible, ranging from a diluted sort of calypso reggae blend to old American country,
Rocky Raccoon checked into his room,
to the brand new, still untitled heavy metal, to experimental noise, to old-timey music,
Honey Pie, you are making me crazy,
to good old-fashioned rock and roll.
Hey, I'm back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are, boys.
Not only were the 1968 sessions the most stressful to date, they were absolutely the most individualized, with several studios frequently being simultaneously occupied at once, a very non-band-like outing for a once unified group. It's not certain when they decided that the album was going to indeed be a double release, but some of the Beatles' contemporary heroes had released double albums, and the Beatles likely thought they should do the same. There had only been a few double albums before 1968. In 1950, Benny Goodman's Live at the Carnegie Hall came out. And in '64, French poet and composer Léo Ferré put out what is likely the first studio double LP. That one's called Verlaine et Hemboud, or something like that.
Noir de loupe, grêlé, les yeux cerclés de bagues vertes, leurs doigts boulus crispés à leurs fémurs.
In 1966, as rock and roll was getting more credible as an art form, Bob Dylan released Blonde on Blonde during an especially fruitful period for him.
But I would not feel so all alone. Everybody must get stoned.
And shortly after that, Frank Zappa and his Mothers of Invention had Freak Out.
Help on a rock. Help on a rock. Help on a rock. Somebody. Help on a rock. Please. Help on a rock.
With others doing something as crazy and innovative as putting out 2 records worth of stuff at once, certainly the Beatles wanted to be just as irreverent. And the next time we meet, we'll discuss the discussions had all about the double LP and the single record idea that was floated around, and some other assorted White Album facts. Until then, class dismissed. I am Professor Moptop.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A Mop Top production.
Very good.